Good morning everyone, welcome to the next episode. Now we're out to dive the Mary Celeste. It's one of the most popular wrecks in Bermuda. It's an old Confederate Blockade runner. As you can see, it's just off the south shore where we have Gibbs Lighthouse just behind us up there. And we're out with Dive Bermuda at Fairmont Southampton, and we're going to be guiding a group of visitors from the UK on this dive day. So it's going to be a wicked dive. Let's jump in and let's get to the brief. Will's going to give us a big thorough brief for you guys to learn a lot about the history of the wreck and a bit about how he's going to take his divers on the dive as well. So let's jump in, guys.
Doing today is called the Mary Celestia. She is a very historical shipwreck. She was sunk in 1864. She was an American Civil War blockade runner. So basically what her job was to do was to come into the Caribbean islands and Bermuda, like Nassau, Bermuda, a few of the other places, stock up with supplies that the Confederates needed to win the war against the Unions. And I'm talking like ammunition, uniforms, guns, really important stuff you need to win wars. Like Scotch whiskey, cured bacon, cigars, and then they would try and break through the Union blockades. Normally go to like the South Carolina, that kind of place, stock up the Confederates and attempt for them to win the war. Obviously it didn't happen, and that's why the Unions are still in power. And obviously the Mary Celeste didn't make it, hence why we're diving a shipwreck today.
Will he?
Will he?
Will he?
Will Hellas. So yeah, alien invasive species. This is the signal for lionfish. If you do see one, point one out and we'll miss it. We're joking because he's only recently done his course and he's missed the two that he's gone after.
You joking?
Yeah.
I taught you,
you taught him, that's why.
So bad.
I'm reteaching him, he might get one. So.
You ladies excited?
Yeah, very excited.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Promise me you're not going to miss a lionfish.
No. I can't stop now.
You definitely know where you're from.
Where's that, Heinzie?
Oh, it may be from the mother country.
The mother country.
Motherland.
Exactly. They're just overcompensating. As we drop down onto the Mary Celeste, you can see Will has his spear, or Little Will, or Free Willy as we call him. Now, I taught him how to catch lionfish, and apparently the 2 times he saw lionfish after the course, he missed. So when he finally saw lionfish in this dive, I was hoping he was going to redeem himself, and he did not disappoint me this time. He redeemed himself. He actually caught 2 lionfish on this dive. And as you can see, Big Will is sitting there celebrating, saying yes, you finally did it, you finally caught a lionfish. Now as I've said before, lionfish are invasive to Bermuda, so we always actively remove them from the reef. But we continue on and start heading towards the Mary Celeste. Now what is staggering about this ship is the paddle wheels. As you can see, we have the first paddle wheel in the sand, but as we come along the wreck, we come across to the main paddle wheel that is sitting there upright, still attached to the wreck. Even with this ship sinking, it somehow stayed attached and rests in the sand. But I'm just going to let us enjoy this part of the footage of actually looking at this wheel because it's stunning, and I'll catch you on the other side of this footage. you can see the scale and the size of this paddle wheel. Now, there's only 2 shipwrecks in the world that still have the paddle wheel attached, and it was only believed the Mary Celeste was the only one, but recently they found one in the Mersey River in Liverpool with its wheel still attached as well. So there's only 2 of them in the world, but at least in Bermuda, you get to see great visibility, unlike the Mersey River, which is going to be dirty. But as we continue coming along, you can see the other wheel and how picturesque it is with the brain coral, the sea rods, and also some sea fans have started growing on it. It's been down for a few years, it's been battered by hurricanes, but it's stunning, and you can see the sheer scale of these wheels next to little Will there as he's coming across with his lionfish. As we look over, we start looking towards the bow of the shipwreck and we start heading towards the bow. And this is actually really cool because when the hurricanes rolled in and actually exposed more of the bow years and years ago, and they actually found crates of wine. Some people believe it might be yellow fever, but it was French wine they found in these crates, and also perfumes as well from the 1860s. Now, what they did was they actually did an excavation of it and found more and more crates of these wines. So PBS did a documentary on it called Confederate Wine. So if you check that out on PBS, you'll find them actually doing an excavation of it. And they actually had wine connoisseurs come over from the US to do a big wine tasting thing. Apparently, it tasted of vinegar, salt water, and came out grey. Apparently it was nasty, nasty wine. You would expect that being down from 1864, but people wanted to try it, and they had this cool perfume as well that you can actually buy where they recreated the scents by Little Bermuda Perfumery. So you can smell what the perfume smelled like back then. But we continue heading off to the bow, and I'm taking my group towards Parrotfish Alley. And as you can see, why Parrotfish Alley has its name. The parrotfish move between the deeper reef to the shallow reef in this column, and it's just an alley of just thousands and thousands of parrotfish. Some days you turn up here and there's just thousands of them, and you can sit here for 10 to 15 minutes and they just keep coming and coming and coming. And if you come here in the evening, the parrotfish are actually going the opposite direction as well. So it's really cool to see, and funny how they have the same areas they travel through all the time. We make our way back towards the bow of the wreck. The Mary Celeste was a Confederate blockade runner, as Will said in Dive Brief. What that means is these ships were the fastest at the time because they were paddle wheel steamers. They were the fastest ships going on the sea. They were mainly built in Glasgow, Scotland and Liverpool in England. Now these ships would run the Union blockade, and one of these ships in today's money would cost around about $200,000 US. But if one of these ships had a successful run through the blockade and made it to the Confederate States, they could make around about $1 million in today's money. Now, apparently the Mary Celeste had 4 successful runs, so this ship had made $4 million in black market trade for the Confederates. Now, these ships were very valuable, so the Union are believed would have spies in the islands. They'd be going from Bahamas, Jamaica, Cayman, Bermuda, elsewhere. And what they would do, the spies would be there to see these ships, find where they are and try and sabotage them. Now a lot of these ships would use different names, different aliases. So in Bermuda we have 3 Confederate blockade runners. The Mary Celeste, the Montana, and also the Ranook. Now the Montana is also known as the Nolan, and it had another name as well. But that's a very popular dive site which you can see just tagged above to check out the Montana. Now with the Mary Celeste, it's actually believed the Bermudian pilot was paid off to sabotage the ship. Now this is just rumours. This is just suggestions, belief, but I'll let you guys make up your mind. He was cruising the ship right close to the reef on a flat calm day, and the captain of the ship actually said, "You're running very close to this." He said, look at that lighthouse up there, Gibbs Lighthouse that I showed you at the beginning. My house is up there. I know this dive site, I know this reef like the back of my hand. Calm day, no wind, no surge. He hit the reef and the ship went down. So it's believed that he was paid to sabotage it and sink it because it's one of the most successful. But again, that is just rumours. I'll let you guys make your mind up. If you look into the history as well, you see apparently he never worked a day again in his life. But again, just all rumours as we continue exploring through the nice big swim through at the bottom of the Mary Celeste. It brings us right up towards the boat mooring in the shallow reef for us to start doing our safety stop. Now at the moment we're coming up to about 8 metres and we're going to start moving up to 5 metres. But as you can see, as little Will is coming up behind me, trying to not get stuck with this lionfish he's caught, he's still very proud of himself. But you'll see this reef around here is just full of coral and healthy coral. There's brain coral, there's sea rods, there's sea fans, and as you just look around as I spin the camera around, as you can just see how the coral is just blanketing this reef. Bermuda's reefs are very healthy and they're great to explore because through the limestone there's so many passages to go explore and see. But the reef is very healthy here and I'd highly recommend coming and diving in Bermuda, seeing these historic shipwrecks and seeing the stunning reef. Hey Heidi, how was that?
That was beautiful.
You enjoy that? It's
Yeah.
an awesome dive, isn't it?
That was great, yeah.
Yeah, I love this dive site. It's nice. Now we just got out from diving the Mary Celeste. I really hope you guys enjoyed coming out with us. The conditions were amazing. Visibility is incredible. As you can see, Will is just coming up behind doing a safety stop with his group just now. Me and little Will and my diver, we went for a wicked dive round. Got some wicked footage of the paddle wheel. You guys saw that in the footage, hope you loved it. And as always guys, I really hope you enjoyed it. We love coming out diving exploring. Hope you guys love dive come exploring with us. And as always, we'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace guys.